What's up YouTube, it's Braid Hero here. I haven't done a deck profile in what seems like forever because I don't really have new decks. Um, just waiting for, set 8, set 9 and all that good stuff to come out, so I haven't been playing a whole lot right now. Also got Overwatch for the PC, so that's a thing. Starter, Azrael. For rescue, the rescue starter is alright, but it gets awkward, and honestly, getting the card to your hand off of Azrael for that free plus is pretty good, especially since this isn't a no-seal deck, so it's a little harder to get cards from your damage zone to your hand, so that's why we run Azrael. And for triggers, the standard 4 heal because G Guardians, and personally Sunny Smile because she can shuffle back to deck and get you more potential heals if you can afford it. 1 Refros because Refros is at 1. 4 rescue stands because the main focus of this deck is to rescue, so more chances to rescue. Recyclable stand gets you more combo plays. It is a shame that Refros is at 1 because there went your best countercharge engine. And then we have 1 extra stand, probably should be a vanilla stand, but I was too lazy to dig one out, and so I'm just using 1 no-seal stand because it was there. Because that 5k could save your life one day. Crit triggers, 4 Gavrail crits because it's a Gavrail deck. And then I run 2 critical hits just to round off a 6-6 lineup for triggers with 4 heals. Because crit sacking is pretty good in this deck. I know a fair amount of people just run 7 crit 5 stand, but stands are equally important in my opinion to get off more combo plays and attack extensions and stuff. Which rescue is pretty decent at unless you're really bad at rescue checks. Moving on to grade 1s, 4 rescue PGs, so you can get battle phase rescues on their turn and hopefully hit a damage trigger or something, but if not, it's just an extra plus on Gavrail because her GB2, and if you have a broken heart, it helps with the guarding for the other attacks. 3 stride fodder, you could probably run 4. Grade 1 lineup can change depending on how unlucky you are with getting your Gavrails and or just being able to stride in the deck, so you could run 4 to be safe, especially since I only run 7 3s. I run 3 grade 1 Pegasus because it helps make power lanes or just better lanes, since even though Refros is at 1, you still can get pretty good numbers off of this as pressure engine goes. And if not, you can always swap 1 for like another stride fodder or something. But I have 3 just because of control, just so I can get a little more of it, as long as it's not like Denial Griffin, Defeat Flare or just Link Joker, then you're gonna have a bad day. We have 2 grade 1 no-CLs. Since this isn't a no-CL deck, no reason to run 4. 3 you could also arguably try to squeeze in, but it does take away from your rescue engine. So that's personally up to you. I could see myself running 3 if I decide to take out this card. This card is just nice because it helps you get extra cards to your hand, since Gavrail doesn't plus much outside of like your Azrael and your On Stride. There's no like superior calling. Okay, well there's Heart too, Key Detail, whatever you want to call him. Outside of that, you really don't hard plus in this deck, so this helps you net extra cards in hand since it's not no CL deck. And then we're running 2 Drill Motor Nurse for boosters, especially in the Kagero matchup. At least with rescue, you can get yourself, if they defeat flare you can at least get back a booster if you rescue check and heal one of these in the battle phase, so then you'll have that extra push power. Moving on to grade 2s, of course we have 4 Broken Hearts, because she's quite broken. Not really anymore because of Refros, but still really good card. No reason really to run it at any less at the moment, because you kind of want as many copies as possible, especially with control being a thing and popular this format. So then I'm running 3 of the Glimmer Breath clone for Gavrail. It's an okay card, but it does let you do some setups, so you can get maybe your Broken Heart from hand into your damage zone and then call it. Fortunately, it's not as plus as some of the other Glimmer Breaths, since you're taking a card from your hand, putting it in the damage zone, and then calling something, so you kinda don't plus like you would with something else, like Bedivere or something. But anyway, it does get you an extra rescue check, so you do have a potential to hit a trigger off of this. It's a little awkward if you hit a stand and you didn't attack yet, but it happens. And then the 2 heart, Kiritos, whatever, for battle phase extension pushes. Since this is not a once per turn card unless I miss something with an errata, but it does let you extend attacks and trigger the Gavrail Strides extra +2s. And it's just a solid card in Gavrail specifically. I mean, it does work in no-seal too, but I feel like it shines best in Rescue. And then 2 Kyo, however you want to call it. Same reason as the grade 1, gets extra pushes, more attacks in, gets you a free rear guard and control matchups. Overall decent card. Moving on to grade 3s, of course we're running for Gavrail because she's the main focus of the deck. For the rest of my 3s though, they're a little, I guess you could say maybe wonky, but I personally run 2 Calamity Flame because it's a backup kind of Broken Heart, just for at least, well, it's basically your grade 1 Pegasus is grade 3, so there's that. Should have been an 11k. Personally, but it's fine, it's whatever. It's just really bad if you have to ride it, but that's why you're supposed to have those grade 1 stride fodders to hopefully fix it if you're stuck on it, or like stuck with it in your hand and have nothing else to ride. But that's why you could probably convince yourself to bump up the stride fodder to 4, but right now I've been having decent luck with my current ratio. I'll change it if I find myself in those really bad positions more often. And I run 1 of this Pegasus because, I mean, it's almost never gonna go off, but if you at least have a column of that, there's a chance it's gonna hit. I mean, you could arguably just run 3 for more chances if you're forced to call a grade 3, which you really don't want to be doing, but it happens. So at least you have options in what 3 is going to do what. So that's my personal look on the 3 lineup, since we're not running no seal. G-Zone, Seabreeze, because we're a GB reliant deck. Not as good as before, since you can't just refresh all your counterblasts and then still do stuff. But still fair enough that it'll let all your rescue stuff go live, and it'll allow you to basically have a deck that does something, which is really cool. And then we run 1 of this Fighters Collection Stride because she's usually your go-to first stride, making you GB2, usually flipping the Seabreeze. So that way you can have your GB2 effects and stuff, since that's where Gavrail shines with her defensiveness. And of course we're running 4 Gavrail Strides. The only reason why I didn't profile this sooner is because I, for the longest time, only had 3 copies of the card. So I ended up picking up a 4th copy just the other weekend, and I can actually legitimately play this deck without borrowing cards. So yeah, she's really solid. She's usually what you stride into unless you really feel like you need to heal yourself for the extra soaking of damage that you might need in a certain matchup. But otherwise, this is a very aggressive card for the deck. It helps make good pushes, and is just the main engine of the deck because it rescues too. So it does make your rescue checks a lot more consistent. So it's basically, you know, your 5 drive checks because of rescue, and maybe more if you have the stand or something to combo with this. I personally won Razio because there are those moments where you might still have your double broken heart and maybe some Pegasus in the back row, and it does help for the push. If not, it's just a refresh of Counterblast if you desperately need Counterblast and can afford to go into him for a turn. So that's why we run one. I run one Uriel, probably one of the more dead cards in the G zone right now, because if you have to stride into that, you're kind of in a losing battle. But it does help if you just completely brick, or you're playing against control and don't want to hard commit early. So you can go into this, and if you hit, then you get to go off and get a free card. But if not, you did get guard out of their hands, so it's not super bad. If anything, this could also be another G Guardian. Continuing strides, full Raphael, because healing yourself is pretty good or something, and it does let you win in time. If you run the Dreamlight Unicorn, I believe his name was, then you can heal yourself 2 in 1 turn, and then you're just like, woo, look at me, time is of the essence. And one Dismal for the G Guardian slot, because sometimes you want to really protect that broken heart if you're going to make a push or something with it for next turn. I run one of the extra plus 5k G Guardian because you can get to 4 damage pretty easily in this deck, and just having that extra 5k shield is pretty solid until we get the maybe a newer G Guardian that's like a screw, but I don't know if we'll get one. We'll see what happens in set 9. And then 2 of the Rescue G Guardians. It doesn't get more shield value, but it does trigger rescue, and you can potentially dig for a trigger. Since you can check top card if it's not something you want to see in the damage zone, you put it to the bottom and check the next card. So there's hope for the damage trigger. And that's basically the entire deck. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys later.